Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday morning to you on this August 11th, 2025. I have all your stories for your rush hour ride to work. And as my mother would say, oh my word, do we have some stuff to get into today. We're going to share the Laura Owens updates as it's her pre-trial conference day. That's right. She will be in the court system here in Scottsdale, Arizona at the Superior Court. We're going to find out a lot of details coming up. So we'll stick around for what to expect there. And then more on Blake Lively, as a content creator believes that Blake Lively may have blown her case at the deposition. Well, not too fast. I'm going to share the truth to that matter. Also, Candace Owens discusses Taylor Swift and how Taylor has been avoiding Blake Lively. And then Gavin Newsom is fighting fire with fire as he attempts to redistrict California to compete with the redistricting in Texas, even though Florida wants to also redistrict. It's an absolute mayhem out there. But I got those stories and more on the war in Ukraine. I know, it's a lot. We're going to get into all of that and more. It starts right now on The Rush. All right, folks. Well, at least, you might have had a fun weekend, but you didn't look as dumb as this NASCAR driver. NASCAR driver Connor Zilisch falls while celebrating and breaks his collarbone. Listen to this.
Youngest ever to reach 7 career wins. Let's go down to Mobile One Victory Lane, Dylan.
He went down on the cage stand.
Oh my God.
He went to stand on his NASCAR and he slipped and fell. Well, here's his update. He said, thanks for everybody reaching out. I'm out of the hospital and getting better. The CAT scans for my head are clear. I just have a broken collarbone. So from winning a NASCAR event to breaking a collarbone, I mean, hey, it's a dangerous world out there, that sport. I tell you what. Mark Marin is quitting podcasting. And, as a podcaster, I think this is a pretty big deal. He goes scorched earth and talks a lot about the anti-woke podcasters and what he thinks of Joe Rogan and whether he could have made it on the video form or not. And again, he's one of the biggest podcasters of all time. He interviewed Barack Obama. I think it was the first sitting president. Was he a sitting president to be interviewed? Either way, he's kind of one of the godfathers of podcasting. Here's what he had to say.
No, I just decided to stop.
Why?
Well, I think my description is a lot more colorful than yours.
Yeah, I mean, it's complicated, but not really. We've been doing this 16 years.
Right.
We were an audio podcast. We remained an audio podcast for a reason, because we believe in audio, and we're audio guys, and my producer's an audio guy. And, my podcast was never really just about generating content. There was a certain mission to it, and each one is pretty unique and pretty high quality in terms of what happens on them. And I think my producer and I, and it's always been just the two of us, we're not part of a network. We're not part of we just do the work. And I think we've grown to see it as a body of work that we haven't really lost our audience. And I don't know, we're just kind of, we did it.
There it is. They did it. They're done. Now, I Googled Mark Marin to see what his net worth is. $10 million, which, by the way, that's a lot of money. It's a hell of a lot more than my net worth and all of that. But you've got Caller Daddy getting $100+ million contracts, Joe Rogan, the Spotify $100 million contracts. And the interesting thing is, the reason I'm hearing of Mark Marin in this clip is because it's on a video format. It's on the short form TikTok for Howie Mandel's show. And the point being is that, yes, podcasting, I think, is best consumed audio only, but the real database for searching for podcasts is YouTube and short form content. That's it. I make this podcast. You can get it, The Rush Hour with Dave Neal, all across audio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, set, whatever the hell you want. But the truth is, 90% of our listeners find it on YouTube. And if you buy YouTube Premium, you can close out the app and still listen. So you get that audio format. But anyway, the whole point of what I'm saying is, a lot of money and fan base, it seems, was left on the table by not sort of evolving with the times. And again, he doesn't have to. He's rich, he's fine, whatever. But either way, for those that are getting started right now, the best search engine out there for your audio-only podcast would be YouTube. So put it on video. All right. And speaking of things that failed and are coming back, Bed Bath & Beyond. Did you guys know this? Okay, we'll get into the Blake Lively story in a minute. We got Blake Lively and Laura Owens in a minute. But first, I didn't even know Bed Bath & Beyond went away. That's how little I go to brick and mortar, but have a listen.
It's not a dream. Bed Bath & Beyond is really back, but with a new twist, under a new name, Bed Bath & Beyond Home, joining forces with Kirkland's Home.
Okay, so they're merging. So you know why Bed Bath & Beyond went out of business? They printed those coupons too big. What are they doing with those 20% off coupons? I hate coupons. Tell me the dang price. This is why I love Trader Joe's. You'll never find a coupon. You just get the price and then you pay for it. No negotiating, no haggling with your fanny pack to find the coupon. Literally, Bed Bath & Beyond had publisher clearing size coupons. They were so big, and I mean, everything was 20% off. And of course, that wasn't enough because people no longer bought the ruse. Either way, it's now Bed Bath & Beyond Home, which, by the way, Beyond was supposed to mean anything. So it shouldn't be Bed Bath & Beyond Home. It should just still be Bed Bath & Beyond. But either way, I digress. Will it do well? I don't think so, because you know what you do? You go into Bed Bath & Beyond, you find a product you like, then you look it up online for cheaper and it gets sent to your home. I'm not saying it's the right way, but it's why brick and mortar are dying. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get to this Blake Lively story in a second, but first, I think what we should cover is Justice for Clayton, official. This is the Instagram account that it's kind of like my Instagram Bible. Hey, how are you? We love them. They cover everything when it comes to the Clayton Echard case, which is Laura Owens was charged with 7 felonies. You know the whole story, all because of the good work of the Justice for Clayton community. Well, now we have an update. Today, we're going to have information as to what's going on with Laura's trial. Now, this is a big deal. I've been named as a possible witness. I'm calling myself a star witness. In fact, I might have to make merch shirts that say Dave Neal Star Witness. But either way, this is how it's going to go down. They say it's a cattle call. They schedule a handful of matters for 8:30 a.m. Whoever is ready goes first. Laura will share a courtroom with prior convicted felons, one who is currently an inmate. Other than Laura's case, there will be 2 trial conferences and 2 sentencing hearings. So this is where I think we're going to find out later today if the court's going to be on time. I'm hearing it's not. It's supposed to be like October 23rd or something, which is a big deal because I would be on the East Coast, so it'd be nice to know. So this is where it's going to go down. The judge who handles her case is just the pre-trial judge. If she goes to trial, depending on how large they believe it'll be, jury selection, media, etc., it will either be at the South Tower or Central Court, which is much smaller and older. I just want it to be wherever I can get good internet, because I'm going to be there, of course, streaming the trial, doing commentary. I'll be doing interviews. I mean, it's going to be a show. It's a real spectacle of justice being played out here. So Laura is required to appear in person. If she doesn't, she could be scolded and told a warrant for her arrest will be issued next time if she doesn't appear in person. There's your update. So that's going to be today. I'm going to definitely have a video on it. We'll be getting phone calls from the courthouse as soon as we get all of that breaking news. So we actually should be live on Patreon when it comes out. Today would be the day to join Patreon. Patreon.com/Dave Neal. We'll get that live information as soon as it's out, since we'll be live streaming already. Okay, I'm going to share these updates we have on Blake Lively. It's depending on what side you're on. There's some good news, there's some bad news, there's news that sounds good, but it's really not. So all this and more is going to come up right after a quick word from our sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by ZocDoc. As I get older, I keep thinking I should be going to the doctor more. You know how to deal with things like sleep trouble, neck pain, anxiety from doom scrolling on TikTok, but it can be tough to get to the doctor. I want to keep myself healthy, but the system makes it impossible to find the right guy for my needs. Until I found ZocDoc, they make it so easy to find the right fit and book an appointment fast directly on their website. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. Appointments made through ZocDoc also happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/rush hour to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/rush hour. ZocDoc.com/rush hour. Now back to the show. So TikTok has gone kind of viral, Katie in KC, where she shared some updates to Blake Lively's deposition, court filings that talked about Blake Lively's deposition, one of which a unredacted line made it seem a little juicier than it is. I'm going to play what Katie has to say, and then I'm going to share what others are saying.
They unredacted it. Upon questioning by Friedman at her recent deposition, Lively admitted that the only ongoing smear campaign about which she has personal knowledge involves a retaliatory lawsuit in the press that you, Brian Friedman, have done, and the statements that you made about me and my character.
All right, so yeah, this sounds really juicy, right? Because as she goes on at the 42-second mark, this makes it sound as though Blake Lively is admitting that there's no other smear campaign going on. So, of course, the content creator does a very nice freak out. We love it. I love the theater arts.
So she has no case. So she has nothing. Those claims are going to go out the window, brother.
All right, so not exactly true. Again, the key word there is what Blake Lively had personal, the key words is personal knowledge, right? So here's the AI overview of what personal knowledge means. In law, personal knowledge refers to a witness's direct understanding of a fact or event gained through their own senses, sight, hearing, etc., rather than through what they've been told by others. This first-hand experience is crucial for a witness's testimony to be considered admissible in court. So for Blake Lively saying the only personal knowledge she has of a smear campaign is the one committed by the lawyers against her, that doesn't mean that her attorneys through discovery haven't found any other smear campaign or anything like that. But what has been brought up, is this idea as we sort of litigate this in the public sphere as they do it through the court systems, is back months ago, a Reddit spokesperson said the landscape and tooling to combat manipulation on the platform has evolved since 2018. They said Reddit looks for widespread patterns of behavior versus individual upvotes and downvotes on posts, and that the platform found no signs of scaled manipulation related to Lively and Baldoni. We also take action against anyone who claims or advertises that they manipulate Reddit. And again, it wasn't necessarily... Obviously, there's other ways to do astroturfing, which is the claim. Blake Lively essentially is talking about a smear campaign, which would be astroturfing, getting together different resources to make it look like there's more people that hate you than not. What Blake Lively doesn't understand is that there is no astroturfing in this case. There's just people that don't like her. And I'm indifferent to it. I've had people from both sides. I've had the Baldoni people want me to go harder as a fanboy. I've had the Blake Lively people tell me that I'm so pro Baldoni, I'm up his ass. And obviously, my opinion's been made very clear, which is that I believe that there is nothing here, no evidence that's going to lean on Blake Lively's side. It was all smoke and mirrors. We read the New York Times article. There was all these things and nothing ever came to fruition. That's what I believe. You see Taylor Swift as her friend won't even talk to her. So what's the real truth there? It seems as though Blake Lively flew too close to the sun. That's what I believe right now. That's where I'm at. With that said, it took me my own critical thinking skills to get there. So I think it minimizes people that have, quote unquote, done their own research. That term's so overused, but it's everyone comes to their own conclusion in whatever way they do it. Now we got Candace Owens here on the Howie Mandel Show, which we're again featuring a video podcast, and she claims Taylor Swift is a mean girl. Now, what does this have to do with the Blake Lively case? She brings that into it. Have a listen.
From everything I have heard from people in Hollywood, she's a mean girl. And the whole nice girl thing is a brand. And I think Icarus flew a little too close to the sun this time. And she's disappeared. She's just done the thing. She's very smart. I like her in marketing because she knows when to disappear. And she knew to disappear. And so Taylor Swift's gone. We were seeing her a lot.
Right.
And now she's constantly
Well, it's also NFL season is over right now.
Yeah, but she's constantly having her media person, Tree Payne, I think her name is telling everybody, she just wants to be, she wants nothing to do with this case. She wants nothing to do with the case. And I'm like, because there's something in those messages that's going to be it's going to be a different Taylor Swift than I think the world is ready for. I don't like how she maneuvers in the press. And
all right, so Candace Owens here saying Taylor Swift is a mean girl. Again, audiences go, takes one to know one. Now, I'll be the first to tell you this. In the years I lived in Hollywood and everybody I've met, I've never heard one story about Taylor Swift that wasn't super, super sweet. From all of them, every time, every city, not to be a pro Taylor Swift account here, but every city she performs in, she gives the largest donation to the food bank that city has ever had. She, gives $100,000 tips to her truck drivers. She's just a literally money machine walking around helping people out, tipping caterers when she sees them at awards shows. I've never heard anybody. In fact, people like Travis Kelce's teammates say, yeah, she baked us cinnamon muffins, or whatever. It's like she seems as normal as possible. So for Taylor Swift to want to ghost Blake Lively, it shows me that Blake's the rotten one. Taylor's got all the talent in the world. She writes all of her own music. She performs it all. Some people say, oh, she's not the greatest singer. It's like, yeah, duh. That's not her thing. She's a good singer. She's a good musician. She's a performer. She puts together a 2.5-hour show. She sells out stadiums all over the world. What more do you want? Well, I'll tell you what she doesn't want is her friends to use her, and she felt like Blake Lively used her. That's what my belief is. So you got to cut your friends off. If you can't trust your inner circle and you're someone like Blake Lively, what do you have? And when it comes to Taylor Swift, she doesn't have a friend in Blake Lively anymore because she had to kick her out. That's my thought. Right? So not a mean girl. And what might be in those text messages? Yeah, I get it. You make private jokes in your text messages. You say things that would sound horrible. You make fun of your in-laws. Sorry, Mom. You do some crazy stuff in there. I get it. And it'll never look good no matter what it is. So the fact that Blake Lively tried to hold that over her head, allegedly, just shows people more of the kind of person Blake Lively is, which is, I want to be your friend, but I will do or say whatever I need to do to, just forge a path for my own power and success. That's Hollywood. That's what it is. All right, well, coming up next, speaking about forging a power for your own success, how about the redistricting issue that we've got going on in Texas? And now we have it in California, maybe Florida. It is an arms race, folks, as gerrymandering happening right now. And by the way, it's 100% happening because of what Texas did, and we're going to get to this story next.